Hi, everyone, and welcome to K More Sports Rockets Edition. And breaking news this Monday night / Tuesday morning, the Houston Rockets have made the first of what many believe will be several trades over the next coming days. The Rockets have sent veteran swingman Robert Covington to the Portland Trailblazers in exchange for former Houston Rocket Trevor Ariza, and 2 first-round draft picks. Those draft picks will be one this year and the draft upcoming on Wednesday night, and then a second protected first-round pick that would happen next season in 2021. But the Rockets send Robert Covington, who they just acquired this past season for Clint Capella and the Clint Capella deal. He was the guy, he was the final piece to the small ball that Daryl Morey tried to incorporate to try to get this team over the hump. It did not materialize for Robert Covington in Houston this past season. He had the worst shooting year of his career, only shooting 31% from three-point range, only shooting 39% from the field. His career numbers were 40% from the field, 35.5% from three. So he was down over 4 percentage points from the three-point line. So the Rockets and their new general manager, Rafael Stone, make their first big move of this offseason, shipping Covington to the Portland Trailblazers, again for Trevor Ariza and 2 first-round picks. Now, as many of you know, I've never been a big fan of Trevor Ariza. Of course, he went 0 for 12 in that 2018 Game 7 at the Toyota Center against the Golden State Warriors and was part of that horrific shooting night for the Rockets. And the Rockets let him go after that. He's been in Portland the past couple of seasons. He did not go to the bubble with the Portland Trailblazers. He decided to opt out. And now the Portland Trailblazers have opted out of Trevor Ariza, shipping him back to Houston. Now, we think this will be, again, perhaps the first of many deals that go down for the Rockets. Of course, it was also reported on Monday that Houston offered James Harden an additional 2 years, $100 million on top of the 3 years, $133 million that they still owe the veteran guard, the all-star, all-everything shooting guard for the Rockets. There have been reports that Harden is trying to work his way to Brooklyn to join Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving as part of a super team for the Nets. If the Rockets can somehow make that deal happen, there is a package that would make sense for the Rockets to go after if they can somehow pull that deal off. And we will show you here what that package would look like. If the Rockets can find a way to get the 3 young superstars from the Brooklyn Nets, that Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a combo guard, he has 3 years left on his deal, Karis LeVert, who is a blossoming superstar at the small forward position, and Jared Allen, the former Texas Longhorn, the big man center for the Brooklyn Nets, who has 1 year left on his rookie deal. If the Rockets can somehow convince Brooklyn to give up those 3 stars with perhaps another number 1 draft pick, then this is a deal that I would definitely make. I don't see James Harden being able to lead this team to a championship. I think that ship has sailed, but at the same time, James Harden is still a superstar basketball player. He's still one of the top 3 or 4 players in the world. So you cannot trade this guy for a bag of peanuts. You cannot let this guy go and not get equal value in return. Now, the old adage is whoever gets the best player wins the trade, and 99 times out of 100, that is true. But if the Rockets can get a package that includes these three guys from Brooklyn, perhaps with the addition of a draft pick or two, this would be the best possible deal that the Rockets could get that can hopefully quickly rebuild this franchise without it having to sink to the bottom like a Sacramento or a Phoenix and take 7, 8, 9 years to build its way back up. The Rockets have always done a good job in the past of being able to rebuild on the fly, from Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming to the current construction of where the team is now with Harden and the different scenarios that we've had with Harden, with Dwight Howard and with Chris Paul, and now with Russell Westbrook. So you hope that this new regime will continue to try to keep this team viable, keep this an exciting team to watch, even though our championship window has probably closed with the James Harden era. It would still be great if this organization can find a way to make a deal that would still keep this team competitive. That remains to be seen. We know that Tillman Fertitta has been tight with the purse strings since he's been the owner. And of course, this year, like a whole lot of businesses, he's been hit very hard, not only with the Rockets, but with his casinos, with his restaurants and his other industries. Those were hit the hardest by the COVID-19 pandemic. So you just hope that he will put the resources into the Rockets organization to make this transition a seamless one if they do decide to go ahead with the trade of Harden to Brooklyn. Now, of course, Brooklyn has to be a willing participant. We don't know that Brooklyn is willing to move their three young stars to Houston. Maybe they want to go ahead and see if these guys can fit with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and make themselves a championship contender that way. But it remains to be seen. We've also heard word that Russell Westbrook is ready to go as well, especially if Harden leaves. I'm sure Westbrook would like to get traded as well. But the problem with Russell Westbrook is that he does not have nearly the trade value that James Harden has. He's a very good player, but he is a shooting guard, a point guard who can't shoot. And that is a detriment. There are not a lot of championship caliber teams that are in need of a point guard, that are in need of a Russell Westbrook. So if Westbrook is to get traded, more than likely he would end up on a team that is in a worse situation than the Houston Rockets. Now, he could go to a young team, perhaps, and try to be the leader of a young basketball team, but he does not have the market value. It appears he does not have the market value at this time that would allow him to go to a championship level basketball team. So we try to get our battery plugged in here so we don't lose juice. But in any event, that is the news on Monday night / Tuesday morning. The Rockets have made a couple of moves. One big one, they trade Robert Covington to the Portland Trail Blazers. They offer James Harden a $100 million extension that that he turns down. So I would love to hear what you guys think. Leave your comments in the comment section. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the channel. Of course, we'll be talking a lot of basketball. We're still in the middle of football season, so we'll still be discussing the Titans and what's going on with them. Baseball free agency will be on the come here in the next few weeks as well. What would the Astros do as far as George Springer and some of their free agents? are happening. So we'll have it all covered for you. Football, baseball, basketball. It's going to be a hot week right now with the NBA. The draft this Wednesday night. Free agency begins on Friday. Training camp begins on December 1st. The season begins on December 22nd. So a lot happening in the sports world, and we'll have you covered here, right here on K-More Sports. So please subscribe to the channel on the way out. Please hit the like button and leave your comments. I'm interested to see what you guys think about the Rockets trade tonight. What should the Rockets do with James Harden and Russell Westbrook? A lot happening over the next coming days. So you guys stay tuned, and we'll have more for you next time.